Yes, Ibrahim. Hey, Ibrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hope I'm audible properly. All right. So, by the way, I had a look at your syllabus, and the only chapter that is left to be completed for your upcoming syllabus, for your upcoming exam, is combustion and flame, right? The previous three chapters, namely crop production and microorganisms and coal and petroleum, have been finished. Okay, Ibrahim. So, the chapter combustion and flame, we have learned the major things in the chapter. So today we'll be trying to conclude the chapter. Okay. So far the different things which we have learned in the chapter. Do you have any doubts in the concepts about the process, about the fire extinguishers, about the flame? Yes, Ibrahim.
No.
Okay. So do tell me about the different zones of a flame first of all. What are the different things about the different zones of the flame which we have learned?
Innermost, it is the least hot zone in the area, and not complete combustion is happened here, and there is unburnt this thing.
Unburnt? Yeah, that is unburnt. Wax vapor or carbon particles?
And carbon particles.
Carbon particles or wax vapors. Talking about the innermost zone, they are unburned wax vapors. Okay, no? They are unburned wax vapors in that part of the flame. Okay, keep that in mind. While in the second zone, what do you know about the second zone? Is, by the way, in the innermost zone, is complete combustion taking place?
No, sir.
First of all, make yourself visible. Start your camera in the class. So complete combustion is not taking place, right? While in the second zone, what are the characteristics of the second zone?
It is moderately hot, and half combustion is taken place.
Don't say half, say partial. Partial combustion is taking place. Okay.
Partial combustion.
And why is the color yellow?
Because partial combustion is happened here.
Not because of partial combustion. Not because of partial combustion. Because unburned carbon particles are burning. Because of the burning of the unburned carbon particles, it is yellow in color. Keep that in mind. The reason why it is yellow, it is because of the burning of unburned carbon particles. Keep that thing in mind, okay? And that is also the luminous zone, right? Now, so the middle zone of the candle flame, also called as the bright zone or the zone of incomplete combustion, it's the pale yellow zone that you see over here, and that is moderately hot, right? So here what is happening, there isn't enough oxygen available for the carbon particles and for the wax vapors to burn. So thereby what happens here, the unburned carbon particles would be going through combustion. Also, they do not completely burn, they are also going through partial combustion only. So that is what happens in the middle zone of the candle flame, right? Now in the outermost zone, what are the things we learned about the outermost zone of the candle flame?
It's blue in color, and complete combustion is taken place, and it's hot.
It's hot, right? It's the hottest zone, right? And here complete combustion is taking place as the wax vapors are able to get enough amount of oxygen from the air, as they are in direct contact with oxygen. So that's why it burns completely. And we did learn some of the activities in the previous class. What did we concluded in the following activity, as you see in the slide?
If we take a glass tube near the innermost zone of the candle, and we At the other end, we put a lighted matchstick. The it will start to burn because of the
Hmm.
unburnt.
Unburnt wax vapors are burning right now, and they are combustible. Okay. Furthermore, we did learn about this activity also. I think, yeah, this one also. What did we proved in this activity? That the we were talking about the middle zone, and remember in the middle zone, why it is luminous? Because of the burning of unburnt carbon particles. Huh? There's a presence of unburned carbon particles. Not all the carbon particles are burning, so there are still some unburned carbon particles that will deposit above this glass sheet. Why the middle of this ring is not black? Why there is no deposition of carbon on the middle zone, on this middle of the ring? Hmm? Think of this. Because as we learned that this zone, this was not exposed to the middle zone, but it was exposed to the innermost zone. Getting it? So the center of
Yes,
this ring does not have any carbon particle because this was directly above the inner zone, which does not have unburned carbon particles. The innermost zone does not have any unburned carbon particles. The only zone that have got unburned carbon particle is the middle zone. Keep that in mind. So this activity proved that the middle zone contains unburned carbon particles. Okay. So this was the same. By the way, this is an activity to show that the outermost zone of a candle flame is hottest. Okay. No? By the way, a wrong image has been taken here accidentally. This is not an image referring to that. Okay. But rather this should be the image. Yes, I'd be having that. Just 1 minute. Okay. Anyways, don't take this image to be the reference of this activity. Okay. Now, so start reading the paragraph first of all. Let me just do some correction on this.
take a longer copper wire and hold leads one end with a pair of tongs. Introduce the other end of copper wire just inside a burning candle flame so that it is in the outermost zone, non-luminous zone.
So here, as you have taken a piece of copper wire, like this one, not this one, okay, and we are holding it in the outermost zone, right? So it will become hot. It will become red hot. Right now, we will see that the part of this copper wire which is held over here, it will become red hot. Right now, upon burning anything, it will become red hot, whether it be piece of iron or piece of copper, or whether it would be anything. So it will turn red hot right now. But at the same time, if you were to take another piece of copper wire and held it in, let's say, in the innermost zone or the middle zone, that will not become that much hot. That will not be giving you the red color. Getting it now? So thereby it proves that the outermost zone is the hottest zone of the candle flame. That has been proved here. Okay now. Furthermore, apart from the candle, we have a kerosene lamp also that would also be exactly producing the same kind of flame as given off by a candle flame right now. So kerosene lamp, oil lamp produces a flame exactly similar to the candle flame, consisting of the same three zones, right? Furthermore, talking about this activity, like here, the goldsmiths would also be using the outermost zone now. So you'd see that they would be blowing air with a blow pipe to intensify the kerosene lamp, or melting and molding the piece of gold, right now, and silver into desired shapes to make jewelry. For example, you'd see that nowadays there are so many well developed machines available for the well developed equipments available for the goldsmiths, but earlier they would be blowing air via a blow pipe to intensify the flame of the candle or usually the kerosene flame, so that when more air will be available, it will burn properly right now. That is one thing. Furthermore, if they had to melt, we have to melt a piece of iron or gold or something, we would be um, exposing it to the outermost zone of the flame because it is hottest. So that is one thing. That the answer to this question, why do goldsmiths blow at the outermost zone of a flame for melting gold and silver? The reason being that it is the hottest zone right now. So hope that thing is clear to you. If there's any other question so far, please let me know. But before we move on, we have got another thing to discuss. There are flames have been classified into two types. Like right now, we have learned about flame, different zones of flame, but there's the flames have been classified into two types. One that is a diffusion flame. Another type of flame is pre-mixed flame. See, in the case of diffusion flame, the thing is that we have examples of candle flames. The one that you have learned, that is candle flame, it is an example of diffusion flame, right? Or the kind of flame that you see in the case of liquefied petroleum gas, or a Bunsen burner used in the laboratory. You know about the Bunsen burner or not?
Yes, sir.
You know about this, then that's good. Particularly in chemistry lab, it would be available. Like if you have to heat a mixture of chemicals, then thereby you can use that right now. So the kind of flame that you will be seeing coming out of a Bunsen burner and due to burning of LPG, that will be pre-mixed flame, right? So why they are being classified into two types and what is the thing about them? First of all, let us say talking about the pre-mixed flame. In the case of the pre-mixed flame, as you look at the flow of a Bunsen flame, which is generated due to a burner, it is burning in a controlled air supply, right? And uh, majority of the fuel that is burning in a Bunsen burner, it would be completely burnt. It would be completely burnt with having sufficient supply of oxygen. Getting it now? So thereby it will be completely burning. In the case of pre-mixed flame, we see that complete combustion would be taking place. That is one general thing about the complete combustion. I mean to say pre-mixed flame. Getting it now? So it would be burning completely, and here we will see that it would be giving much more amount of heat. Got this basic thing? It has just got to do with some terminologies, nothing too technical about it. Okay. Then talking about the previous one, this diffusion flame. In this, it will not be completely burning. Hope these topics are clear to you. So
Yes, sir.
incomplete combustion takes place in that case. So that topic is clear. Now we are going to learn about some other basic things. We are going to be learning about the pollution caused due to burning of fuels. What are the different type of problems which we are facing because of burning of the fuels, right? So quickly read the given
Sir,
paragraph. Yes,
what was the other kind of flame?
these two,
Premix and
premixed and diffusion flame. Okay, no?
okay, sir.
Talking about pollution caused due to the burning of the fuel. So whatever kind of fuel you have, whether you have a fossil fuel or whether you have fuels like wood or other fuels, upon burning, it would be releasing like uh, rarely we see that the fuels would be going through complete combustion. Only some of the fuels would be almost completely burning, not 100% completely burning, but some of them would be burning clean in a clean manner right now, and some of them would be releasing less amount of smoke, less amount of unburned carbon particles, but some of them which are poor fuels generally would be producing lots of unburned carbon particles. So generally due to burning of wood, coal and petroleum, if they are not burning in sufficient supply of air, they will release unburned carbon particles in the air right now. And if someone were to inhale those unburned carbon particles, that will cause infection in their respiratory tracts and hence lead to respiratory problems. So the person are likely to suffer from respiratory infections, like as they would be suffering from asthma, they would be regularly coughing. Right? Furthermore, incomplete combustion of fuels would be producing some toxic gases like carbon monoxide, as we have learned about this in the previous classes, that carbon monoxide has got higher affinity, higher attraction towards the hemoglobin pigment found in your red blood cells, and hence it will be combining with your blood and will lead to slow death of a person. If person inhales too much amount of carbon monoxide, it can be very fatal for him. Got this now? Now, the most common gas released due to burning of fossil fuels would be namely carbon dioxide gas. Right now, so we know that most of the fuels, whether it be wood, coal, petroleum, they contain carbon in them. Right now, Ibrahim, all of them contain carbon. Apart from some other
Yes, sir.
things like hydrogen, sulfur, they are also found in it. But the main composition of any given fuel would be carbon in almost all the major cases, except for other fuels like liquid hydrogen or other things. Right now, if we're not to talk about them, in general, these kind of fuels would be containing good amount of carbon. So what happens in the process of combustion, as we know that basically the fuel would be reacting with oxygen. So particularly the major component found in the fuel is carbon, so it would be reacting with oxygen when it undergoes combustion, and hence it will be releasing a gas called as carbon dioxide. Right now, and we know about this carbon dioxide gas, like in the recent years, the amount of carbon dioxide gas being released has increased multiple folds. Right now, here is the list of amount of carbons, metric tons of carbons produced in the following years due to burning of different fossil fuels. Right. So, for example, uh, talking about the burning of the petrol. So, the data is taken like our average data is taken from the year 1800 till the year 2000. So after 1900, like it was an age of industrial expansion, industrial revolution, right? So industries were running majorly on due to the burning of coal, right? Getting it, due to the burning of petroleum. Got this now? So due to the burning of petroleum, carbon dioxide gas was being released. And how much it was being released? Like for example, in the year 2000, almost 3.5 metric tons of carbon was being released. Getting it? In terms of billions, it is not just in metric tons of carbon, it is in billions right now. So 3.5 billion metric ton of carbon was being released in the year 2000. As for other fuels, you can see where, for example, the fuel with least, not fuel, but the substance that would be releasing least amount of carbon would be cement production. So while the cement is being manufactured in the factories, that will also be releasing lots of carbon dioxide. So it is very less as compared to other fuels as we have here. Got this now? Getting it now? Okay, by the way, you tell me
Yes.
about this thing. Like, do you understand about the term carbon footprint? Huh? Different countries are being said to reduce their carbon footprint. Hmm?
Can you repeat the question?
I was talking about carbon footprint. The term carbon footprint.
I don't know.
You see, carbon footprint is basically the total amount of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, like methane, that would be generated, that would be released into the environment due to our different actions. Getting it now? Right? So, for example, on an average, we observe that a person living in United States of America, huh, average person in his whole life would be kind of producing about, he would be kind of releasing due to his different activities about 16 tons of carbon dioxide or methane gas in his or her lifetime. Getting it? What I'm trying to say? But we understood this, the carbon footprint. Many times the student don't get this concept. So it's basically the amount of carbon dioxide or methane that you would be releasing into the environment due to your various activities. Like if you're burning some fossil fuel, like on an average it is taken. But on the worldwide, it is about 4 ton. But in USA, it is highest, like 16 tons of carbon is being released by them. And here you can see as we have learned about the middle zone of the candle flame, that would be usually containing unburned carbon particles. So that is one of the major cause of respiratory diseases such as asthma. Got this now? So that is the main culprit behind this asthma. Then, as we know that due to incomplete combustion, carbon dioxide will also be released, which is a poisonous gas, right? And as if someone were to burn this enclosed room, so thereby in insufficient supply of air, rather than producing carbon dioxide gas, the coal will be giving off carbon monoxide, which can kill people in their sleep, and that leads to a slow death. The person would be suffocating and he will die. That is one thing. Furthermore, have a look at this image over here. First of all, we have the different resources in our earth. Once we would be discovering it, then thereby we would be extracting it. Like once you have discovered the coal or discovered the coal reserves in which is a resource, you have discovered the reserves of petroleum and natural gas, you would be extracting it, you would be burning it, and that would cause pollution. So that is the life cycle of a fossil fuel. So if we have to talk about life cycle of a fossil fuel. So it goes from its discovery to pollution. Once it has been discovered, it is obvious that it will lead to pollution. Getting it? That is the life cycle of a fossil fuel. Okay. Furthermore, talking about the wood. Wood has been used as a domestic and industrial fuel for so many, probably thousands and thousands of years. It has been used as the most common source of fuel. To this day, in rural areas, in villages, people will still be relying upon wood as a domestic fuel, as it is easily available. They don't really have to necessarily purchase it from the market. It is usually available in the forest. They can collect it from there. Usually, the woman would be assigned with this task. They would be collecting this wood from the forest, as it is easily available, and they would be burning it. But the burning of wood has several disadvantages because it is not a very clean fuel, right, Ibrahim? So due to burning, it will lead to many problems, right? Like particle pollution, meaning that in some places, wood burning is the major source of particle pollution. So here we are talking about particle pollution. Particle here refers to the unburned carbon particle. Getting it? So burning of wood
Yes, sir.
would be releasing unburned carbon particles in the air, and many times, the particularly the rural women's would be suffering from respiratory diseases because of inhaling the unburned carbon particles coming out of the um, mud stove, right? Carbon monoxide will also be given off due to burning of this, right? Now, like many times you will see that the woman would have kitchen um, would have very small and compact kitchen with a very poor ventilation. So that will also lead to release of carbon monoxide, and that poses another danger to their health. Nitrogen oxides will also be released due to burning of wood. Got this, no? Nitrogen oxide is another deadly gas. Later on, we will get to learn more about nitrogen oxides in the case of pollution, particularly acid rain. So far, I hope you are understanding and getting the basic concepts. Remember about the greenhouse gases which we have learned previously in the chapter coal and petroleum. I believe we did learn about this. Yeah, where I did you explain you guys about the greenhouse effect and the gases responsible for it. Yes, Habib. I mean to say Ibrahim. Yes, Ibrahim, you there? Yes, Ibrahim, you there in the class? Ibrahim, am I not audible to you? Yeah. So talking about global warming, please do respond in the class whether I'm audible to you or not. I think I'm perfectly audible. So the
Yes, sir. I
rise in
had
the
some
average. Okay, okay. See, recently we have observed that the different parts of the world have been going through this heat problem. People have been suffering from heat stroke. Hmm. The reason being is that in the last 1 or 2 centuries, in the last 100 years, what we have observed, there has been a exponential growth in the industries, in the use of different machines, in the burning of fossils. So there have been exponential growth, right? But that this growth comes with a price. It comes with a very bad price. The industrial evolution has been good, but it has had a very bad impact on the planet Earth. So the global temperature of the Earth has been rising. The reason being, the main culprit behind this is the greenhouse gases, namely carbon dioxide gas. Apart from that, there are some other gases also like chlorofluorocarbons, which we learned in the previous classes, right? So greenhouse effect, as you know, in the previous class I did told you guys, not in the previous class, but in one of the class we did learn about greenhouse gases. I mean to say greenhouse. So we know that the roof of this greenhouse, it would be trapping the heat of the sun and thereby not allow the heat of the sun to escape from it. And hence in the winters or particularly in the cold countries, the inside of this greenhouse is kept warmer so that the plants can grow in it. Right, Ibrahim? So this roof is kind of
Yes, sir.
trapping the heat of the sun. Similar to that, there are some gases like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, chlorofluorocarbon, or methane. CH4, that is methane. They will acting similar to that of the roof of this house, and thereby they will be trapping the heat, and hence makes our atmosphere warm and makes the surface of the earth also warm. So thereby, due to this, the polar ice caps, the glaciers would be melting. The polar ice caps are melting. So thereby, that would disrupt the rainfall pattern, and they would also lead to uh, flooding, right now. So these are the consequences of the global warming. On a global scale, the Earth is getting warmer day after day, months after month, year after year. It is becoming warmer. So that is called as global warming, and it leads to change in the water cycle, change in the rainfall pattern, change in the uh, uh, direction of the movement of the winds, change in the, I mean to say, change in the rise of the level of oceans. All that is happening, and also you'll find that the people particularly living in the coastal areas, they are more at risk of flooding right now. Another problem associated with burning of fossil fuel is that it is one of the leading cause of acid rain. Have you seen Taj Mahal? Have you visited to Taj Mahal?
No, sir.
If you happen to visit there, you will find that the marble is not turning yellowish. It is not turning pale yellowish in color. The reason being is that there were several industries situated in the vicinity of the Taj Mahal, and we know the factories would be releasing toxic gases, harmful gases like nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide. What happens when these gases will go higher up in the air, right now? And while there will be precipitation, while there will be rainfall, so this incoming water would be reacting with this. So, say you have water H2O, it would be reacting with NO2, or it might either react with SO2. So when the water would be reacting with these gases, namely the nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide, that will lead to formation of acids like sulfuric acid and nitric acid. Getting it? So that will lead to acid rain, and wherever it will form, wherever it will be falling, it will damage that area. So it will be damaging the, if it were to fall on us, it will damage our skin, our hair. It will damage the monuments, buildings. It will damage the water body also, make the water body acidic and unfit for the fishes to live. It will damage the crops of the farmers as well. Got this or not?
Yes, sir.
So, what is the main cause behind acid rain? What are the main gases responsible for this?
Uh, uh,
Yes.
NO2 and SO.
Name of the gas. NO2 and SO2, that is the chemical formula, but what by what name we know them? We know them by the name of
Nitrogen oxide and
hmm,
nitrogen and sulfur dioxide.
sulfur dioxide. Very good. Okay, these are the main culprit behind the acid rain. So hope you have understood that point. Okay. And what are the harms of acid rain? What objects would be harmed by it? It would be harming the infrastructure. It would be harming the water bodies, aquatic organisms. It would also be bad for the soil because it will make the soil acidic, thereby making it unfit for growth of crops right now. So if acid rain were to fall on the soil will become very acidic. So do tell me, the crops should be growing well in an acidic soil or in a neutral soil? Yes, the crops
neutral soil.
grow in a neutral soil. No? Very good. Okay. Okay. By the way, in the class 7th standard, you would have studied about these things. Like, if soil is very acidic, what is done to reduce its acidity?
We
Hmm?
add some basic items
Like, what can we add? We can add lime. Yeah,
lime.
lime. You can add that lime now, or you can add calcium hydroxide. So these things can be added into it. No, getting it now. So you had to reduce it, raise the pH level, make it neutral. So you have to add those things. Okay, but what if the soil is basic? What should be added to make it neutral? What if it is too basic?
We will add some acidic items such as fertilizers.
No, remember in the chapter crop rotation and management, I did told you about organic matter like manures. Manures should be added to the soil. Huh? So manures would be kind of manures like compost, uh, or rotting substances. Once they are added to the soil, na, they would be releasing the acids, and the acids neutralizes the bases. Na? So acids released by the manures would be neutralizing the base present in the soil and thereby improving its fertility. Okay, manure addition of manure has other advantages also. Can you name one of the advantage of addition of manure apart from the one which we have learned right now? Yes.
It increases soil fertility.
Hmm. And see, Ibrahim, it will be increasing aeration in the soil. It increases aeration. You understand this term aeration?
No,
So it will be kind of creating a space in the soil. So thereby it creates a space in the soil. So thereby air molecules can enter into the soil. Hence, that is aeration. So if there is aeration in the soil, so thereby um, earthworms can grow properly. Water can enter into those spaces. The water holding capacity of the soil will be increasing right now. Hope you're getting it. Okay, so out of the following options, read the question and answer which one has the maximum contribution to global warming. Only one of them is true. I have given you a hint. Or no, not necessarily, not necessarily. There can be more than one. Or there can be none of the above. Just look at the
carbon dioxide,
options. Hmm.
carbon dioxide and methane
And methane. So which option is correct? Option number 4.
for more than one of the above.
Good. Now, moments ago we were learning about the global warming. So what is would be the indicator? Like we are experiencing this global warming. As this year the temperature broke almost all the records right now. So the signs of the warming world are as follows. You will experience that humidity would be increasing, temperature of ocean is increasing, sea surface temperature is increasing, uh, ice would be decreasing, glaciers are melting right now. Furthermore, temperature above the land will also increase, snow cover would be decreasing, glaciers are melting, temperature of the air, particularly near the land, would be increasing. So these are some of the indicators of a warming world. Okay, so that is something which we have learned. Another topic which we have to discuss is how do we conserve the fossil fuels right now. This is something which we have learned in the previous class also. So in order to conserve the fossil fuels, like for example, um, remember in the previous class we did learn about some organization like PCRA. Yes, Ibrahim. Remember
Yes,
about the organization PCRA? Huh? So what was the work of PCRA? Petroleum Conservation Research and Organization. What is its work? Its main objective is to promote awareness among the people, promote energy conservation awareness among the people, and encourage different kind of practices among the people, like turning off their car engines whenever they are at traffic light, right? And how they can improve the efficiency of different products that are obtained from the petroleum right now, and what kind of alternate fuels we can adopt which are much cleaner and affordable as well. So how we can conserve fuel on an individual basis. Like for example, if I were to ask you, Ibrahim, that say as a responsible citizen, what are the things you would be doing in order to conserve the fuel?
We
Yes,
would
Ibrahim. Hmm.
we would turn off the car if we are stuck at a traffic.
Hmm. And like you are driving, you would
We
make sure
could,
that the
we could use solar panels to prevent waste of electricity.
okay, usually we get to know that solar panel has so many advantages. Then have you ever thought about the disadvantages of using solar panels? What could be the
No, sir.
disadvantages? There could be some disadvantages, no? Like it will not be working at night, although you can store the energy produced by it. Furthermore, like for example, usually many times now people would be installing the solar panels at their home as a alternative energy source, right? So usually, like return of investment would be after few years, after 5 or 10 years. Getting it now? The installation is expensive. The installation of solar panels, it is expensive, and there's something called as return of investment. So as you have invested on it, so initially, let's say you'd have spent like 8 or 10 lakhs on it, right? But on a monthly basis, that's not your electricity bill now. Neither in the 1 year you'd be paying 8 lakhs as electric bill, right, Ibrahim?
Yes, sir.
So it would take very long period of time to give you a return on the investment to make it profitable for you. That is one disadvantage. Like that upfront cost is usually high. It can take some years to return. Furthermore, it is weather dependent. So in the winters, it would be less reliable, less effective. Getting it now? Furthermore, even in the summer season, if it's a cloudy day, the production of electricity decreases. Another disadvantage is that you need to have a bigger space. Generation of, like if you have no more number of solar panels, you'll be able to generate more amount of electricity. So good amount of space is required. Or our rooftop, your rooftop might not be big enough to fit the total number of total number of panels you need to meet all the energy requirements of your house. Many times it can be inefficient. The solar panels can be inefficient because, say for example, if you happen to live in a stormy area, so it would require more maintenance. It had to be regularly cleaned with water. That's something. Anyways, coming back to the topic, you can check the pressure of tires regularly before driving the vehicle, or you can simply walk over if it's a nearby place. Or people should be encouraged to use public transport instead of having private vehicles. For example, if my office happens to be nearby, I would rather be choosing public transport rather than going there by car. Also, use of public transportation solves the problem of traffic also, right? It's
Yes,
also a
sir.
problem of traffic also. That is something which we have discussed. Okay. So right now it's time that we discuss some of the questions. Okay. So since you are only there in the class, so just answer the given questions in the class only.
And for the first one, it's wood, and for the Well,
It's LPG, or is it petrol? Think carefully. Out of kerosene, biogas, LPG, and petrol, which one has highest calorific value? Have you memorized that table? You're saying petrol or LPG, by the way?
LPG.
LPG. Good. Then that is correct. Okay. After LPG, if I were to ask you which one is having the next highest calorific value after LPG, you have petrol. Keep that in mind. Okay. After this, you'd be having biogas, and then you'd be having kerosene. So in the order, it is like that: LPG, petrol, biogas, and then kerosene. Okay. By the way, there was one such reaction. Did we discuss about this, Habib? I mean, just Ibrahim. The burning of the magnesium ribbon very present. Not this one. Okay, that example was actually left to be discussed. Okay, now just hold on for 1 minute. Like in many schools, this activity is done that the students are shown the burning of the magnesium ribbon. Have a look at this. This is a burning magnesium ribbon. Okay, so magnesium, it is being heated. So as it is being heated, it would be reacting with the oxygen in the air. Okay, and the special thing about this reaction is that it's a highly luminous reaction. When the magnesium is burnt in air, so it would be reacting with the oxygen, and in the process of doing so, it forms a substance called as magnesium oxide. Forms a substance called as magnesium oxide, and in this process, it gives off white dazzling light. White dazzling light is given off. Getting this? So it is a very intense reaction which gives intense amount of heat, and a dazzling light and a bright light is given off. Hope you are understanding this. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no? So that is one thing about it. So furthermore, after burning has is done, like after while it is burning now, so this magnesium oxide, it will be collected as a solid residue. It will be collected as a solid residue. Like for example, I mean to say that while you are burning it, and you have held it above a candle flame or something, so when it would be burning, it would give back some white powdery substances, that is the magnesium oxide, that would be white in color. So that you can collect in a china dish. You can collect that in a china dish. Okay, now you can collect that in a china dish. Now, one special thing about this magnesium oxide is that it is basic in nature. This magnesium oxide, when it is dissolved in water, like if I were to take this magnesium oxide and I were to dissolve MgO, that is magnesium oxide, in water, and if I were to do the pH test, we find out that it is basic in nature. You getting it, Ibrahim, what I'm saying? Reaction of magnesium with oxygen. That is another such example. What is the special thing about we have learned about this? That it's a very intense reaction and gives a bright light. Okay. As the result of reaction, the product obtained is magnesium oxide. Now, when water is added to the magnesium oxide, it gives us magnesium hydroxide. What does it gives us? Magnesium hydroxide. What is the nature of magnesium oxide? Upon checking it, what did we found? Upon doing the pH test, you will find that it's a basic substance. So this question might be asked in the exam about the nature of magnesium hydroxide. I mean to say about the nature of the magnesium oxide. So since it is in the form of powder, it's a white powder. So thereby, by using any acid base indicator like litmus paper or pH paper, you will not be able to. Guess you are facing some network issue. Yes, Ibrahim. Guess you are facing some network issue. So in the reaction between a magnesium ribbon and oxygen, it's a highly reaction. It's a very intense reaction that gives off this white dazzling light and gives a good amount of heat also. In the reaction, a product obtained is a white powdered substance called as magnesium oxide. While we have to check its property, whether it is basic or acidic in nature. In general, we know that a metal metal is whenever it reacts with oxygen, it gives a basic oxide. It's a basic substance. But how do we check for its property? Upon mixing it with water, we will obtain a product called as magnesium hydroxide. And you would have studied in the previous classes, in particular in your seventh standard, that you can, in order to check for acidity or basicity of a substance, whether it is acidic or basic, the substance has to be in a solution form. So that's why water was mixed into it. So thereby now you have a solution that is magnesium hydroxide, solution of magnesium oxide and water, that is magnesium hydroxide. Upon dipping, upon dipping a blue litmus paper into it, upon uh, upon dipping a blue litmus paper into it, what will be happening? Yes, Ibrahim, remember how we use litmus paper to check for the property of substance?
Yes, sir.
Like if you were to put a red litmus paper into this, and if the color of the red litmus paper changes to blue, that means it's a basic substance. So you have a, say, red litmus paper, and see that in a container you have obtained a solution of it. So as you put it into this, the color of this will be changing to blue, thereby indicating that it's a basic substance. So that's all that is important about reaction of magnesium with oxygen. So hope you have understood this. Now let's continue with the remaining questions. Okay, continue from here.
Magnesium oxide, heat and light.
Good. Next.
Sir, what's
Camphor. Camphor or
yes,
kapoor. Camphor is a substance like it has got a variety of uses. It has got some medicinal uses also. Like camphor, you'd have seen it like kind of white tablets that has got variety of purposes, and it undergoes sublimation. Meanwhile, read the next question while I'm showing you an image of it.
the substance that does not burn with flame is
Hmm.
charcoal.
That is cool. Very good. So this is the plant. That's a different thing. This one I'm talking about. This is camphor. In Hindi, Urdu also called as kapoor. Getting it? That is camphor. Has got variety of uses. One of the uses, it has got some medicinal properties also. So camphor has variety of uses. So camphor, one another thing is that one it once like when it will be burnt, that will also giving flame, and it directly converts into the gaseous state without going into the solid state. Okay. So which of them is not a combustible substance? Camphor is a combustible substance. Straw, alcohol, all of them are combustible apart from glass, right? And here you have charcoal as the answer. Just answer this question. On placing an inverted tumbler over a burning candle, it will extinguish. The flame will extinguish because
Lack of oxygen.
next.
If a person's clothes catch fire, the best way to extinguish fire is to cover the person with a wool.
Good. This one.
The substance expected to have the highest ignition temperature out of the following is coal.
Very good. Next.
Choose the correct statement about inflammable substance from the following. They have low ignition temperature and cannot catch fire easily. High ignition temperature and can catch fire easily. Low ignition temperature and can catch fire easily. High ignition temperature and cannot catch fire.
Which
High
is the correct option?
ignition temperature. High
Not.
ignition temperature and cannot.
No. 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 It does not have a high ignition temperature. See, for example, like take example of iron. It's not like iron will never catch fire. Iron will also catch fire if it were to, because it will catch fire, but its ignition temperature is very high. That's why it is usually not considered as an inflammable substance. But compare it with petrol. So petrol will burn with just a matchstick. So its ignition temperature is low. But you have the example of a piece of iron rod with just a piece of matchstick, you will not be able to burn it because the temperature is not sufficient. Its ignition temperature is much higher. So thereby now which is the answer?
Low ignition temperature and can catch fire easily.
Option C, good. Then answer this question.
Choose the incorrect statement from the following. Forest fires are usually due to carelessness of humans.
You have to choose the incorrect statement. Now, isn't it because one of the cause of is that it is because of carelessness of humans also. You happen to like someone happens to visit to a forest, and if he were to leave a piece of burning, like he didn't extinguish the campfire, left a burning a matchstick or lighter. It's the cutting of trees. Cutting of trees is not cause of forest fire. Okay. That's an incorrect statement. Okay. Last question. Do this one.
The calorific value of a fuel is expressed in a unit called kilojoule per kilogram.
Kilojoule per kilogram. Okay. You can answer this one also.
Shyam was cooking potato curry on a chulha. To his surprise, he observed that the copper vessel was getting blackened from the outside.